force as well.
Here's the referee, Alan Rolland, fitted for sound as usual and vision as well today. RevCam has arrived in the Heineken Cup with its special view of the action, up close and personal. Talking of special, those lucky enough to be
force as well.
Here's the referee, Alan Rolland, fitted for sound as usual and vision as well today. RevCam has arrived in the Heineken Cup with its special view of the action, up close and personal. Talking of special, those lucky enough to be present in Montpellier yesterday witnessed one of the great European occasions. Perfect example of what makes this competition so special. Now Twickenham hopes for the same with these two big name clubs. England versus France clashing head to head for that one remaining spot in the final. Saracens with home country draw and advantage. They came out of the dressing room that belongs to England. They wear their chosen colours as well. But in the colours of Toulon, their chain strip, Jonny Wilkinson with the first very useful touch find in this game. What a figure he has been since his arrival at the club, an inspiration to players, coaches and supporters too.
Good pressure from Richard Wigglesworth. He will be one of the men trying to put pressure on Wilkinson, especially with Armitage out, because Toulon have gone for a hard ball carrying back row, so Wigglesworth will be a real pressing force defensively.
Here's Vunipola, first run, that was high. Rousseau.
High tackle here.
That's some way to introduce yourself to your new club. Dani Rousseau, signed for the knockout stages of this competition, beat the deadline, although he got a toe injury in training which prevented any appearance in the quarter-final. That was high on Vunipola, all right.
Vunipola carrying the very first line out. He's an important figure in the loose. Dani Rousseau, hugely committed South African international. Big man just goes too high. Good refereeing from Alan Rolland. Very unfussy there. It was high, it was a penalty, quiet word. Now Farrell against Wilkinson, the first act. Discipline is going to be so important. It's a terrible start for Toulon in that they've given a very soft penalty away. Will Farrell make it an ideal start for his team Saracens by turning the penalty into 3 points?
Got 17 points in the quarter-final, part of that total in his young Heineken Cup career. Already Saracens' leading point scorer in their history in the competition. This their second semi-final in the last 5 years ago, and they start in the last 4 in 2013 with that from Owen Farrell, 21 years of age. Brendan Fenter and Mark McCall, they know they can trust their man.
Two sharpshooters, which one will blink first today? But which team will put their side in the right position to give the opportunities? It was soft from Toulon, it was punished with real harshness by Farrell. A lovely first strike.
Already a restart then. And Wilkinson going pretty long, and Strettle showing good feet to get away from the first challenge. But it is Matt Stevens going in at the side, and Alan Rolland very quick there to give Wilkinson the chance to equalise for the French team.
On a day like this, Alan Rolland's whistle could be a vital part of the match. Wilkinson 5 metres from touch, you expect him to kick it. Strettle does well initially, and then Matt Stevens just on the left of Strettle now. Does he come in on the side? He certainly does. Accurate refereeing from Alan Rolland. Now we said which kicker will blink first. Farrell drilled his first one through. Wilkinson, who kicked quite majestically in the quarter-final victory against Leicester, cannot, against a young opponent like Farrell, afford to miss many. He's expected to kick this. He's been doing it ever since he went to Toulon.
Only one previous club match here for Wilkinson. It was the Tetley's Bitter Cup final of 2001, Newcastle against Harlequins.
A controversial winner on the day.
Dramatic finish, very close game. Every chance that this one is going to be every bit as close. A lot happened in the 12 years since that semi-final. But it's almost as if he's never been away. What a start from both kickers. First Farrell, then Wilkinson, as predicted.
Well, Wilkinson, he certainly changed as a player. He's never quite been in the pomp he was in from 1999 to 2003. But throughout all the problems with the rest of his game, his goal kicking has always been imperious, and he's playing well all round at the moment.
Caught by Dylan Armitage, who wasn't in the Irish team in that 2008 Heineken Cup semi-final against Toulouse. Nick Kennedy was, and he was involved there.
Well, there's something. Matt Gitto, I don't think he kicked the ball once in the quarter-final win against Leicester, but they used the left foot immediately. Toulon, they're using Nick Kennedy to run first phase out, which is a bit of a surprise. It's not his forte, whereas Armitage under a high ball most certainly is.
Now, do Saracens have an advantage here in the line-out? Might seem crazy to say when Kennedy's in it for the opposition. Great stealer of ball, also back his boater, but Steve Borthwick has had a magnificent season in that area, and Brad Barrett, he's gone so well defensively in an attacking force there too, and Brits is after this, and good pressure on Rudy Wolf, 4 times cap for the All Blacks. And Saracens piling in, but piling in over the top and preventing the ball coming back from Rudy Wolf, so that will be a penalty to Toulon.
A little bit too effusive there. It was a very good kick from Alex Good. Nice play, Brad Barrett straight through Chris Masoi, which will worry Toulon, and Good's kick was a beaut, right into the corner. Rudy Wolf was pinned in, and Saracens will be very disappointed that they let him out of jail there with a few players going off their feet. It's poor from the New Zealand number 8, who was spectacular against Leicester, and this is a lovely kick from Good, right up to the gain line, gives himself the options, and Saracens must be disappointed with the way they gave that penalty away.
Yes, lots of discipline there, in a good position, as you say. Nice kick from Good. Wolf wearing 14, but operating in the left wing position. Palisson is over on the right, despite his number 11 number.
It's lovely to see Good wait till the very last second before he just threaded that ball on his right foot. Gave himself every option and also kept the Toulon defence coming onto him. They couldn't turn early.
Vunipola rushes off. Bit of blood to be sorted there, so Rhys Gill will come on as the replace ready and raring. Sebastian Bruno. Kennedy cleared up that line out, but it's put Toulon potentially on the back foot here. No panics, and Wilkinson away. Good pressure from Saracens through there. And Farrell especially. Little tap to Wilkinson as he went past him.
Brendan Fent, I was talking to him before the game, really excited about the prospect of Saracens taking on this array of Toulon stars, and he said to me, it's going to be a good war, Stuart. I don't know what a good war is, but I think it might be a sporting version today. I think we'll see a few more going to the blood bin.
See Borthwick there shouting the call at the line out. This 50th Heineken Cup match for him today. A bit of a milestone, but he won't be remotely thinking about that. That's gone forward. Controversial forward pass given yesterday, of course, in the semi-final in Montpellier. Munster's last chance, it proved to be. Was this one forward? It seemed to be live.
Definitely.
It was.
Nice line-out play at the moment. Good variety. Joubert being used. Jackson Ray, blindside flanker, coming up to the front. Borthwick making the calls, but using himself sparingly. Quite hard for Toulon to pick out where they're going at the moment.
Two old England squad colleagues there, and Sheridan and Stevens against each other.
Both early. Yes, but can you just wait for my call? Both early. Here we are. You go again.
Right in the thick of it there. Vunipola still receiving treatment. Gill's still out there. He's against Carl Heyman, of course, 45 caps for the All Blacks. Member of their 2007 World Cup squad. And it's the free kick. Eventually the referee deciding he needed to get the game moving. And so too Dylan Armitage.
Straight over Stratton.
Beinsports, Wilkinson, that looked a little bit forward. Not given that time. Beinsports tries to dig it out with the boot. There goes Sebastian Bruno. Replacement here for Sale in their English Premiership final 7 years ago. Beinsports again. Fernandez Lome, who joined Sale that year after the final. That's Gitto. Beinsports once more. Heyman, big tall man, carries strongly. Up comes Dani Rousseau. Good tackling from Saracens, but for the first time in the match being tested here. Palisson, Armitage waits. Armitage goes against Alex Good, but he stayed on his feet and got the ball back inside. Good cover from Sarries in the end. Wigglesworth was on hand to kick the ball away. Referee brings them back for the ball going forward, but there, the Saracens' defence certainly being examined.
Yeah, first time we've seen Toulon really on the advance. Left to right, very good. Armitage, first time straight over David Strattle there. Next time, Alex Good does a very good job on his opposite man. Good width there, Lobby, lovely pass in there. Palisson left to right, bit of space for Armitage. He's strong, but Good gets there, and then Wilkinson hit very hard by Brad Barrett. Who else?
Good numbers from Saracens, but there was a touch of the scramble about that, wasn't there?
Yeah, but they're very good scramblers. They're excellent at going wide. Toulon going wide at the moment, but I'm pretty certain at other times they'll try and hit much closer to the fringe, but they're trying to attack with a bit of variety.
Vunipola about to come back. Referee trying to get this scrum settled. Easier said than done though, Paul, isn't it, trying to settle all of this down early in a semi-final.
Yeah, very over-anxious both sides, you know, hitting a bit early, and referees nowadays, they don't give you a second chance. You just got to get on with it. If you're a fraction of a second early, there's no leniency, so they've got to get their timing bang on here.
Too early, but it's a full penalty. Thought that Toulon might have been penalised for driving too soon. But a free kick for Saracens. No, says Alan Roland.
Too soon for one is too late for a referee, and that's what Roland is seeing at the moment.
Far side. Wait.
Back his boat up, big left arm, say to Wilkinson, put it in the corner, we've got him. But I just think in a Heineken Cup game like this, the right option is 3 points. You take everything on offer. Backies, he fancied a big line-out drive and going straight into Saracens, but the rest of his team were more than happy to see this man go for goal. It's exactly the same spot he kicked his first penalty for.
I think that's why Victor Matfield was the boss pig.
Yeah, the boss pig. It's interesting that that's a free kick and a penalty. Saracens at the moment not on the same wavelength as Alan Roland. Very good for Toulon.
Taking it all in and no doubt enjoying the forward confrontation from the stand these days. Graham Rowntree, of course, England coach on the Lions management team as well.
I played against Graham Rowntree a few times, and that shrug and the raised eyebrows tells a tale of I'm not sure, referee, I'm not sure about that. England against France, I don't think Graham Rowntree would like that call.
Plenty of his supporters here today. With him around, it's normally a 3-point call. And it is again.
That was a better kick than the first one. I thought the first one was 4 millimetres off centre. That one was centre. Warren Gatland, who we She had a glass of wine with and a chat on the way back yesterday from Montpellier. Was very, very cagey about his selection, but he didn't dismiss anything. And you still wonder if Wilkinson plays a fantastic dream game. You just wonder.
The problem is, of course, as Vunapala returns, Toulon likely to go an awful long way, not just in this competition, though likely is very much a question mark in a debate. Saracens have something to say about that, of course, during this afternoon, but certainly in the top 14, the word likely can be used. But it's been a good start from Toulon here, playing their power games. Going for Rousseau in the back row, Stefan Armitage on the bench. It's clear what type of game they want to bring to take on Saracens here. The Saracens team without their man of the match from the quarter-final, Will Fraser. It was Sheridan. Good Bastereau lurking menacingly there. Serves well to Wilkinson. Farrell in position to take that. Now it's Alex Good. Counter-attacks the England fullback. Wigglesworth. Farrell again. Looks for Strettle. Ball inside. Jackson Ray took that very well indeed. Kept the momentum going. Vunapala. Oh, that might open it up again. That was Bakis arriving on the scene.
That was a momentum stopper.
Here's Wigglesworth to Farrell. Up comes Wilkinson. Didn't quite judge that one, but it falls pretty well for his side. And Palisson played in the World Cup final, of course. World Cup winner Wilkinson does well. There goes Gitto, ball inside to Palisson, and there's a lot of space here. Goes for the chip. Armitage after it. Dylan Armitage takes this. Oh, can't quite. The bounce of the ball just went away from him. Had that sat up, he was in. Palisson elected for the kick, but it didn't work.
Well,
but it was an attack that absolutely sliced Saracens wide open.
I said Palisson has been everywhere off the left wing so far. Out and in, it's the old Leinster move against Clermont. Palisson, should he go inside there? Possibly. But if the kick stands up, that is a try. End of story. I just wonder whether there was an inside ball, but there is a penalty, and it should, Wilkinson being Wilkinson, be 9 points to 3.
Penalty awarded, and presume that was for a late challenge after the kick was
Get the guy with the tee on, will you, please?
sent on its way by Palisson.
He's on his way, thank you. Time off.
Let's see.
He's turned his back and eased into it. He could have. Owen Farrell's not standing his ground there. He's just nudging him out of the way. And he likes a nudge, and Alan Rolland spotted that, and that is a penalty.
For Wallace.
Time on.
Yeah, Saracens competing very well at the breakdown, getting hands in, but we saw there they're not working hard enough to get to the far side, and it opened up acres of space for Guito to come through. The forwards have to just keep working, because if there's any space like that, there's no one better than Guito to create havoc.
Absolutely, and nobody better than this man to take advantage of any misdemeanor. Farrell giving the penalty away. And Wilkinson, you would have thought, about to take it and take the 3. Yes, thanks very much, says Jonny Wilkinson. We put the pressure on, you give the penalties away, and we will take those 3 points time and time again. The captain must be pretty pleased with his side start.
Well, Saracens, we said what a good scramble side they are. Why? But they've been isolated here, and there's a little inside ball, and that is the hole that they will look for all afternoon. We talked about that avenue on the inside ball, just 5 metres or so from the fringes. Guido to Palisson on the inside. They have looked at Saracens, how they defended against Ulster, and Saracens a little bit too wide, a little bit vulnerable, and Palisson with all that pace will be through.
from the restart. Dylan Armitage with the take again, but this time he had the time to get the ball away into touch. Bernard Laporte, I mean, the stars not just on the field but leading the team off it as well. Former French coach for many a year. Here comes Ashton, gets himself involved in the match for the first time really. Chris Ashton scored one of Saracens' 2 tries in the quarter-final here against Ulster, which they clearly deserve to win. Dominant side on the day, and by some distance. Stevens.
Onside.
Wigglesworth to Steve Borthwick.
Contact.
Sheridan there and Marceau too, and it has slowed it down. Strettle.
Stay.
Wigglesworth. Ball through the hands of Hargreaves, as he's up against Nakis Bota in that South African battle in the second row. Just took his eyes off it maybe there. Again, it's pressure being applied defensively this time by Toulon.
The Saracens not coming onto the ball at the moment. It's quite static. Borthwick earlier, left to right, carried one very slowly in. He was driven backwards. And at the moment, the contests are being won by Toulon. Saracens are being driven backwards, and then you end up with the errors, as we just saw there from Alistair Hargreaves. Much the better start from Toulon. It's only a quarter of the game gone, but they're playing with far more rhythm at the moment, and they look comfortable. And then a free kick goes the other way.
Taken quickly by Wigglesworth. Farrell gets it out quickly. Tompkins and Farrell and Stevens. Now it's Borthwick. Wigglesworth. Farrell, there's a call for a kick by Strettle. It's almost an interception from Palisson. Brits look straight to the referee. It's in vogue these days to give them as a deliberate knock-on, but I think Palisson was deliberately trying to catch that ball to race underneath the post.
Well, he wouldn't have had a brain if he was deliberately knocking that one on, because he is inches from scoring a try here. He doesn't need to slap this one down. He is so close. That ball goes into his left arm and Palisson is gone. There's no penalty, there's no card there, there's a let-off for Saracens.
Made a good start.
Touch.
And with 21 caps for his country. Say one of the few Frenchmen in the Toulon side.
8 early.
Multinational team. So Marceau off the scrum a little bit too quickly. Didn't stay bound. Penalty, and Toulon will be annoyed with that one. That's self-inflicted.
Tompkins is going to try and get outside Bastareaud. Bastareaud is on the drift. He's heading this way, but Tompkins thinks he might just have a metre on him, and look how close he goes. On the arc, it's a nice pass, forces him wide. Beautiful tackle from Bastareaud, but in that channel there, maybe Tompkins gets a metre. It's superb work from the big French international there, and maybe Saracens think, don't run through him, you might just get round him.
The mean-looking Bastareaud started here for France against England in the Six Nations. You can see his contributions there in the Heineken Cup this season. So often the go-to man with the 17 stones of him. And here's Farrell, so quickly his own man in his career. The comparisons were always going to be made between himself and Wilkinson. They're cut from similar cloth, but not the same cloth. Owen Farrell, his own man in his own right. And there's a man who can kick, Neil Jenkins. He'll be taking those skills and all of his knowledge with him as a coach on the Lions tour as well now.
Outstanding display of goal kicking from both fly halves in the first 22 minutes. 4 out of the 5 kicks have been pretty difficult, and they've all been slotted with consummate ease.
Wilkinson restarts. Strettle's there again. Looks to show those quick feet again, but Fernandez Love makes a tackle. One of many that he will make throughout the course of the afternoon. Tireless worker. There he goes in again.
Brilliant.
In fact, Saracens are being smashed on the gain line there by Toulon. in general, and this big heavyweight game that they've arrived with is starting to have an effect.
I'm just wondering whether Saracens should be thinking about an easier strategy of getting out from the 22 there. They got clattered by Clermont a year ago. They said they bulked up after the quarter-final defeat, but on that evidence, and in the first 20 minutes or so, man for man, the juggernaut Toulon pack are on top, and they'll have to think twice about this. Danny Rousseau comes in, and we know what an incredible physical force he is. The first tackle's big, the second's big, it forces the penalties. Borthwick and co are going to have to think again about this. They are not just going to kick the door down that is the Toulon defence.
That's why Danny Rousseau is playing. We saw it there in all its glory from Toulon's perspective, far from glorious for Jackson Ray. And Wilkinson, chance to get that 6-point gap back. Just conceded the 3 with Marseille coming off the scrum early. There he is in the background, getting a good look at his captain. To chalk that one off from Farrell straight away. Said it was going to be a shootout. And he's got a loaded gun, has Jonny Wilkinson, no doubt about that. Let's go touchline again.
Yeah, Miles, I think Saracens have to have a rethink about how they get go-forward ball. They've had 4 line-outs and they went off the top each one. You take the easy yards, take it down, maul, put pressure on, and when they do move the ball, don't just go one out. You got to run at a pot. When you get someone running hard.
Just a general chat there from Alan Roland about the frequency of penalties in this match. And Steve Borthwick, Jonny Wilkinson returning to their troops to say we've got to stop giving them away, but at the moment Wilkinson will be less concerned, much less concerned than Borthwick will be on that front. Armitage again, the man to catch. That's sped up from Saracens. Good effort there from Vunipola as well. Try and be the first man to get there to try for the charge down.
He's comfortable in the pocket at the moment, Wilkinson. And Alan Roland, both these teams must have done their homework on Roland. Of all the referees in Europe, he is most prone to keep whistling, and he will ping teams who he believes, or even though they're an attacking force, he blows up and he blows up and he does keep blowing. And if Saracens continue to commit give penalties away, Wilkinson will kick them out of it.
Brits throws. Kelly Brown to Wigglesworth. Brown again. Made 21 tackles in the quarter-final. Kelly Brown, 8 more than any other player at that stage of the competition. All of the games. Amazing work rate. Need to show it again today. Joubert too. Wigglesworth went backwards. Ashton goes forwards, puts pressure on Wolf. Off to Armitage. Just a little bit too much on the kick there. Ashton couldn't arrive in time, but maybe a bit too much on the clearance from Toulon, as Saracens have a chance to come back with it and reset an attack. Wigglesworth, Farrell, there's Barrett, is good, off the side of the boot, off the edge of the boot really.
He meant to actually just drop that dead, but it didn't work at all, and Matt Gitto's far too wily, didn't make a mistake there.
Fernandez, Lobe.
Great pickup from Lobe.
He's got skills. He really has. Wilkinson as well worms his way out of that situation beautifully. Rousseau, tackle comes in from Barrett. Tius Bourne, others getting in his way, including Bastereau, who, to be fair to him, was trying to clear Hargreaves out of the way of his scrum half.
Well, the crowd like this, but I'm not certain if it's Toulon's game plan at the moment. to be messing around in this part of the field.
Cheers ball to Fernandez Lobe. Here's Giteau. And Wilkinson, head down. Jackson Ray fighting for that one. Stuck on their 22 here, the French team. Ball's loose.
That's the worst sequence of play we've seen from Toulon in this game. I mean, the Wilkinson break was nice and the crowd loved it, but thereafter they were just trying to wriggle their way out. They had one or two opportunities to set that ball and clear it. Wilkinson was down, but with Giteau and Armitage there, that ball should have gone away.
It's playing into Saracens' hands, isn't it?
Saracens defensively will want Toulon playing 75 metres from their line, and in the end they forced the pressure, but Toulon were going nowhere there. Here's the kick from Good. Giteau, very assured himself. I just think Matt Giteau, with all that experience, a couple of phases later on would have thought, give me the ball and let's get this somewhere near the halfway line. And in the end the error is forced there, and that's pretty soft from Toulon.
Won 4 out of their last 5 games on this ground, Saracens. Because Wembley has become their second home, although they've had plenty of homes this year, 7 I think in all, and won at them all. But Twickenham is what they will consider to be not a lucky ground. They work too hard to call it luck, but a ground where they will feel comfortable. Chance here now with Wigglesworth again to Good, goes for the handoff on Giteau, and that's good strength. Wigglesworth short to Stevens. Real chance here then for the Sarries. Farrell, Vunipola looking for the offload. Brits had just strayed away from him. He was looking for the line, quickly through the gap.
Lobo, tackle after tackle at the moment.
It was always going to be the case from him. Lovely offload to Ashton there. Now there might be a chance. Joubert, head down and straightening up the attack. In goes Brown, Kelly Brown. That was an important arrival from him, but just wasn't enough. Dylan Armitage working very hard on the floor as well there, the Toulon fullback. Just for a second it seemed to be opening up, and Joubert knew it. Tried to power into that space that was available, and there's not a lot of space available on that pitch at the moment.
That was superb scrambling work. It really was. Initially you wondered whether Joubert had blown an opportunity, but he hadn't, because the men were coming across in numbers. Giteau, he's always going to get his man in the end, and you just thought for a second it's on here. Lovely little roll round ball, but 2 men covering. It's 2 against 2. There's space, but there are men coming across, and Joubert decided to attack the drift. Didn't work. Great defence from Toulon.
There's space and a premium, and when it does come along, it doesn't last for long, does it, as we saw there.
Now, keep the space.
It's just going to be a reset line now.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Because the gaps were being
just
closed, but Bruno was,
okay?
I think, on his 3rd attempt to get it in. He was walking in, wasn't he, from the touchline. Of course, you can't dummy throw anymore. That's better.
Wait!
Just the yips, just the yips.
More once!
Marceau holds in. Former captain of the cast.
Use it!
Club in France, of
Use
course,
it!
before moving to Toulon.
He's okay, he's okay.
Top 14 player of the season last season. That's going to bounce around. Bastareau's not the tallest. Who did that come off? Not Bastareau, obviously. But Saracens have it anyway. And here's Barrett. Good long pass to Strettle. Strettle tries to stretch his legs here, and Ashton's going through the middle. And Armitage has got his work cut out on this occasion. But he's there first, and he's covered it. He's got the angle just right. As the former England fullback. Ashton was certainly putting the pressure on, but it's good work again from Toulon's number 15.
Ball breaks very well for Dylan Armitage. He did not want that to stop Armitage are lucky not to be penalised. He takes Ashton out off the ball there, but then brilliant turnover work. Brits, he does go off his feet, but it's quick and it's away, and thereafter Saracens put real width on it. This is an intelligent kick from Strettle, but he needs this ball to just stand up on a firm surface. One more break and it's safety for Armitage.
Wilkinson drops out. Good again. Another tackle from Fernandez Love. To see that in Sale Sharks colours. Strettle tries to get in there as the ball is loose, but it was tapped forward.
Nick Kennedy, brilliant stuff. He's not renowned for his work at the breakdown. Perceived as a great line-out forward. Brendan Fenter doesn't look happy there, but nothing's done wrong. Lobe, who is just tackling. Now Kennedy, big tall man, bang, sees his chance, goes in. Saracens are too high at the breakdown. They've not protected the numbers. Kennedy is in. Strettle is forced to pick up with men coming through. Sheridan completes the job. Kennedy started it, but they identified that really well, Toulon. Saracens didn't mark it, and they opened themselves up.
Really strong, really physical there from Kennedy.
Just insufficient numbers, though. The opportunity was there, and he took it.
To your sport. Wilkinson forced to check, but here comes Bastereau to get it going. And it doesn't get going. Wigglesworth initially put his body right on the line there, but then Kelly Brown gets the plaudits. And his intervention, or attempted intervention, to get the ball enough to win the penalty. And a chance for Farrell to say to Alan Roland, we'll go for those posts again.
Well, as poor as Saracens were last breakdown, they're brilliant here. Inside ball to Bastereau. Keep your eye on number 10, Owen Farrell, as well. He's helping his mate Kelly Brown. The two of them, textbook position there. They just got down so quickly. Bastereau is stuck. There's nothing he can do except hang on to it. 10 and 7 together there. That's really good defensive play.
It's a lovely day for rugby, and lovely day for kicking there for as well. Farrell feeling this well within range. This will put Saracens right back within range, wouldn't it? Just 3 points down.
Is that time correct? 34:15. Thank you. That's a quick 34 minutes.
You can see though, still a fair way out, but he struck it right out of the middle, and they are not putting a foot wrong, literally, the kickers. This afternoon in this semi-final, it is a masterclass being exhibited here by Owen Farrell and Jonny Wilkinson.
It was a Heineken Cup semi-final, but it just could be a morning on the training ground for Farrell and Wilkinson. They are striking their goal kicks so well, 7 out of 7, and every single one of them has been straight through the sweet spot of the ball. Wonderful. Now Lobe, who's been brilliant at restarts, doesn't get on that one.
Finds Hargreaves. As the kickers just do not look like missing at the moment. Of course, the pressure will increase as the game goes on if it stays tight. But we also know that under pressure, Wilkinson and Farrell seem to raise their game. I'm not sure how they can raise it from the position in which it's in. Well, Saracens are certainly raising their forward effort here. That's really good. That will lift the whole of the team. Then it's Brown, not the best service there from Brown, and it slows the whole thing down, but the initial forward effort, that's a genuine lifter for the side, and it's won a penalty anyway.
I think that's the first serious psychological boost there. Saracens will think we really had Toulon's pack going there. Great body position there. Scott Brits with just one hand there. You've seen other times, you know, where you could say, well, that actually is an obstruction. He's barely holding on there, but technically they had Toulon going backwards there. Lobby having a chat with his bench. He's not happy. There you can see territory. It's been mainly Saracens. They've had ball, they've been patient with it, but Toulon lead because they've been a little bit more dangerous.
And it's mainly been away from the 22s.
Yes, yeah, I mean there's a couple of big clean breaks. Palisson has been involved in broken play there. But I think Saracens will think, well, if we can keep this territorial stats, in pretty much the same shape as they are after 35 minutes. By the end, we will have worn Toulon down and we will be winning this game. So Toulon must worry about that.
Time for Saracens to influence the scoreboard here before half-time. Just over the 3 minutes left. Brits again, gets detached this time, and Vunipola touched that. That was knocked on. Wilkinson switches here. They've seen that it's on. Palisson and Fernandez Lobe. Fernandez Lobe again goes charging up the field. Everything about his body language suggests that he will not be beaten today. He is an inspirational figure for any team, is Juan Martin Fernandez Lobe.
Well, Brits just out-muscled there by Masoi, but you're quite right. Lobe, world-class player, is playing a world-class performance. And Jonny Wilkinson, his pass off the left hand, just changing the point of attack, was absolutely superb. That's Giteau keeping it going, and there's the step from Lobe inside men. He is having a tremendous game, but he got the chance to make a few metres because Wilkinson was going right to left and he just switched that ball onto the left hand. Watch this, no time, off his ankles, bang. And that makes space.
And onto Fernandez Lobe.
Fantastic there. Really great skill there from Wilkinson, and Lobe, he has been everywhere.
Set! Okay, 2 minutes. Wait.
Tears board to Wilkinson. Ashton and Good takes control as he was stepping forward from fullback. And it's a penalty. Bastareaud, the man penalised.
Interesting. I think Matt Giteau as well came around the other side. Both centres very aggressive there. This is easy range for Owen Farrell again.
Well, so when you think how much he had with the last kick, okay, that was a little bit closer to the post, but it sailed over with plenty to spare. Good catch from Alex Good. He commands, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's good at the moment in that degree now. Bastareaud comes in. Look at Matt Giteau. He's making the tackle. He's not going to roll away. And Bastareaud, he's on his feet at the moment. Now he's not. He's off it. You could actually ping 12 or 13 there. And Saracens, they know that. After a nervous start, Toulon giving the penalties away, and Saracens, well, it's almost certainly 12 all, isn't it? Because this is in front of the post. I've marked it up already. Have you?
Just moved on to the other side of the pitch, but that shouldn't worry him. But it is a long way out, however you look at it. And he has missed, just straining for that distance maybe. It's funny, isn't it? He had so much in the last kick. So he went sailing through, but maybe it's the psychological aspect. You can explain that maybe as we develop the broadcast throughout the afternoon, as it's turning into a shootout. That's the first miss, and that's the difference between the two sides. Just listen to the referee here.
It's both sides holding on and not releasing. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, still penalties being explained. Story of the first half, really, those penalties to you.
Yeah, Toulon just about the more threatening team, and Wilkinson 4 penalties to 3. I think the better team lead, but Saracens taking territorial, well, not control, but an edge. We knew it would be tight. It is tight.
And the half-time score, Saracens 9, Toulon 12, and I'm going to check the rules of the place-kicking competition.
Very wise to do so. Not much separating these two. There was a blueprint that was rolled out ahead of this one as to how many thought it would go, and at the moment we are following it to a T. It is 4 out of 4 for Jonny Wilkinson, 3 out of 4 for Owen Farrell, and as a result, Sarries are behind by 3. first ever Heineken Cup final is up for grabs. We've had 40 minutes of assessing each other. Who is going to come out and take full control, or are we going to extra time and possibly that penalty shootout? We shall see. Shake the shackles and set their sights for Dublin. Stuart Miles, all yours.
Yes, thanks, Alex. You got it, didn't you, when you said that it was Farrell who blinked first, although he did blink from an awful long way out. But if it does go to sudden death at the end of a place kick competition, remember 3 place kickers are chosen for each side, and they have 2 kicks each, and then if it's still level after that, of course that has to follow extra time. That's 10 minutes each way before we get to that point. And tries will be taken into account. We haven't had any of those yet, but if it does go to sudden death, then we could be here till the train stops.
And Saracens will want to get Charlie Hodgson on. They'll move Owen Farrell. They'll have Alex Good as well, Richard Wigglesworth. They look very strong if it did go to sudden death. Just to say, came out half-time, a real moment of sportsmanship. Hodgson was wearing his replacement's bib. Lobbe went to the other side of the pitch, just went to shake hands with his old mate. European Cup semi-final, just said, how's he going?
Of course, used to be together at Sale, those two. And it's been billed as Farrell versus Wilkinson, and it's turning out that way. But let's not forget, you just mentioned him, Charlie Hodgson. It used to be Hodgson versus Wilkinson. Wouldn't that be an irony if Hodgson was the man who came on and made the difference between the two teams? At the moment, the difference is in Toulon's favour. And here is Wilkinson to Danny Rousseau.
Hands out!
Wilkinson again to Matt Giteau. Giteau, who released Palisson for the one big attack of the first half, stands almost in isolation there.
Super skill from Toulon under pressure there.
Hands out!
It's another penalty though.
Marcus there.
To the home country team.
Pressure was the key word there. Toulon released it, but Saracens would drive in Toulon backwards at the breakdown. Start of the first half, it was all Toulon.
Both sides have big bench options, don't they? Great depth from both teams.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very experienced bench as far as Saracens go, with people like John Smith, World Cup winning captains, Charlie Hodgson with all that experience. Then you look at the other side, Gethin Jenkins on the bench, but he is likely to be going on the Lions tour, I would think. You look at Van Niekerk and Armitage, and then brilliant match winners like Maxime Mermoz as well. Now, it's a European Cup semi-final. You would expect 2 powerful benches. You got them.
International captains, plenty of them starting the game, but on the bench too, with likes of Gethin Jenkins and John Smith, who you mentioned. 83 times that he captained South Africa. His 111 caps. Stefan Armitage, who caps for England, of course, in his debut on this ground against Italy 4 years ago. Ball goes Toulon's way. That's good news for them at the line-out. Bad for Borthwick and co. Wilkinson. But it's a high-level contest in all areas. Bakis Bota and Nick Kennedy
Out of the 10.
made their mark in this match as well, and so too has Danny Rousseau.
Ashton didn't fancy taking him on in the air, did he?
Good offloading. Here's Bruno, tackled by Joubert. Tia's board. Was that a knock-on? Saracens were claiming it. Fernandez Lobbe.
Hands out!
Is Rocky Elsom not fit, like Rousseau? Towards end of season signing from Toulon, just to try and make sure that they cross the line into the finals that they want to get into. Tia's board losing his footing and couldn't get the ball away, and it was Kelly Brown who scrambles along the floor. Another international captain out there. Wigglesworth to Farrell. Coming this way, Ashton waits. Tackle came in from Kennedy. Was enough to put Farrell out of his stride. Here's Tia's board, back to Wilkinson. Really long drop goal, hasn't got the legs. But it's back for the knock-on.
It's a shot to nothing, but that was pretty average there. That was too conservative. But brilliant play from the Toulon second row. Started with Bakis Bota up against Joubert at the front. Yeah, the old veteran South African with the big right hand wins it. And Nick Kennedy, who's carrying and tackling and he's winning ball, he's going really well. Big hit there. You know, Kennedy is really displaying an awful lot that some people in England didn't think he had. Really gets it over Owen Farrell there, doesn't he?
So many players, and maybe all the players in this Toulon squad, not intimidated by being here. They've been on this ground many times before, played in so many big matches. They were never going to have an attack of stage fright today, even though this is a semi-final of the Heineken Cup. Change being made. You see David Strettle being forced to come off the field, and Chris Wiles, the American international, comes on. He scored tries in 3 rounds of the pool stages, twice against Racing, Metro, once against Edinburgh.
Bastareaud looks menacing. He's just standing in front of Wilkinson.
Bastareaud always looks menacing, but he'll have to wait because it's a penalty at the scrum, and Wilkinson immediately grabs hold of the ball.
Yeah, the sinister element then becomes that left boot of Jonny Wilkinson. This goes over 9:15 in the context of this semi-final. That's a decent lead for the 3rd time. Toulon will be delighted though, Wally, because this is the 3rd time that they've won either penalties or free kicks that have given them point scoring chances. Is it going to be the difference?
I think so. You see so many of these knockout games being won on the scrum by vital penalties. Also the psychological advantage. But you can see there, Matt Stevens was just too open, too high. When you're scrummaging against a powerhouse like Sheridan and the Packy house behind him, you've got to get your scrum height lower. Sheridan's a tall man. If you bend him down a bit, he can't get into a good pushing position. I think they really need to address that area and start scrummaging lower and tighter, because you look at Toulon now, will keep attacking, and of course there's Gettin Jenkins as well to come off the bench, so more pain ahead.
Paul in great position to see that, so the right call according to our man on the touchline, and certainly the right man to get the task of obtaining the 3 points for his side. As you say, 15-9 in a game like this, just threatening to stretch away. You can get the next one after that. So far Saracens have managed to stay in touch, but the Toulon supporters, and there are a fair few here, yet to really grab hold of what the whole of the European concept means, but they're moving in that direction, as we saw in the quarter-final against Leicester on that great occasion. I'm sure they would travel in force for the final itself, and that little group of Toulon supporters delighted with Wilkinson taking it out now to 15-9. As I say, if they can be the ones to get the next 3,
Leave him alone, leave him alone.
and that could make a big difference. Wilkinson to touch, it's touched by a photographer, so no chance for a quick one for Brits.
Very good at the restart, Toulon. They chase well, but on their own ball. They've got a 2-man team. Lobe's always there, and Armitage, big, powerful man. Great timing under the high ball. They're making sure they don't give anything too soft away there. It's back to Wilkinson. Don't mess around. Stick it 35 metres from goal and say to Saracens, you play from there. They're 15-9 up. That must be their template. Don't mess around. Push it deeper, as Joubert is down at the moment.
Already lost Will Fraser out of their back row. Fraser injuring his shoulder in that match against Gloucester. Now with Joubert down. And here's a man who's had a really good day, Dylan Armitage. Not just taking the high ball, but his positional play and everything that he's done for his side.
Yeah, it hasn't been pyrotechnic, has it? There hasn't been a moment of brilliance, but he has been very solid. And this is a European Cup semi-final where attrition has been the key word. And in this sort of situation, if you're a fullback, you've got 14 blokes in front of you, and the first thing they're thinking is, don't blow it, mate. And Armitage at no stage has looked like blowing it. And we have to remember, with his short fuse in the past, he's done crazy things. Under control today.
Two sides of the coin to Dylan Armitage. Never better illustrated than in the pool stage against Montpellier, when he had his 2 tries in one match and sin-binned in another against French rivals. Vunipola
Lobe.
Stolen by Fernandez Lobe. Continues his magnificent work in this match. And another player who sends out that signal, that body language, that he won't let the side down at all. Wilkinson, likewise. He steps out of trouble again. Gito quite happy to slip in to play that kicking role if he has to. It's a luxury, isn't it, to have Gito alongside Wilkinson. But well played by Good. Wiles comes in, gives a pass on to Barrett. This is Ashton. It's the time of the game, the quarter-final against Ulster, when Saracens really got into their patterns and started to open up the opposition. And that is referee Alan Roland stepping in. He's seen another high one, and it is a yellow card for Dani Rousseau. He was walking a tightrope anyway, in view of what happened in the first half earlier in the match. And this time he does go to the sin bin. And that, on a day like this, with a kick to come here for Farrell in front of the post, could be a big point of difference.
Every penalty you concede is a discipline error with a small d. This is a big D, capital D. Do you know what? Yes, he has rolled up in the end, but this is harsh for a yellow, because he's low to start, then he ends up there, and I think, letter of the law, that has to be a penalty. Let's just watch this again.
He hits the ball, doesn't he?
He goes for the ball, he rides up as Vunipola goes low. It's one of those penalties that's annoying enough, but it is a penalty. It is not a yellow card. That is not a yellow card, and if Bernard Laporte's upset, I fully understand it.
Almost bounced off the ball, his hand, and then up towards the head and neck area. It was a high challenge, but the yellow card could really hurt Toulon. Well, that's hurt them to some extent. It's 3 points to Saracens of the boot of Owen Farrell, so he's right back in the groove with that kicking, which is so important today. And now this period, this spell of the game, with Toulon down to 14 and Dani Rousseau in the sin bin.
If a tackle starts legally and then rises accidentally high because the man carrying has slid down, then yes, you have to give the penalty, but you should not be given a yellow card there.
George Cruz is on, as you can see, for the injured Ernst Joubert. Cruz, who played so well in the home meeting in the pool against Munster, played on the blind side in that game. So another penalty, another moment for the Saracens pack. Well, Saracens supporters starting to get very encouraged by this period for their team.
Well, this is not just a moment for Saracens, it's about 9 minutes now. Man with the top hat on, he's got 9 minutes with an extra man. Lobe doesn't claim that. Borthwick very strong there. Get the drive going extremely quickly there. That was good work.
Standout play again from Borthwick. Another change, Neil de Kock, who captained Saracens in their previous semi-final of this competition in 2008 in Coventry against Munster. And he replaces Richard Wigglesworth at scrum half. So the bench is being emptied by choice as well as injury now. Here is Neil de Kock to Barrett and Vunipola. Oh, what a carry from Vunipola into that 22, looks around. Support arriving, Jackson Ray leads it for Neil de Kock. Ashton's calling on this side, will it get there? Stevens goes forward, first of all. Right in the shadow of those posts now. Wiles. Saracens for the first time in the match really testing Toulon inside their 22. Chance to get it out wide, and it's gone forward. Whistle has gone. Kelly Brown was lurking on the wing. Saracens knew what they had to do, but couldn't get the ball out there without it just slipping forward.
Well, technically, that's a bit of a waste. It's Owen Farrell and it's forward. It's the England fly half, and that is an opportunity. I think back to his wonderful pass for England against Scotland. That one, he lets his team down. There's a chance there, and he does not get that right. And he can look as annoyed as he likes, but Roland's spot on there. That was forward, straight off the right hand.
Jean-Charles Orioli comes back after his knee injury. Told this week he would not be fit for the full 80, but he's going to play his part now.
Well, how did
Vunipola playing his part here?
Toulon had so many tacklers, I think they all decided someone else was making it. Straight through Masoe. The first time Saracens have made a big bust. Palace on in the first half for Toulon. But the key is, it should have been more. It should have been a try. It's a 3-on-1. That ball is well forward.
Way forward. I mean, you don't even need the cut of the grass there to show that. That's Brad Barrett down on the floor, and Paul Wallace is down on the touchline. Wally.
Yeah, great line break there by Vunipola. But I think when Saracens get down the half, maybe he's just tighten it up, try and put the pressure on Toulon, take the ball down maul it. The maul's been going very well at the end of the first half and there again earlier this half. Also, when they're in their half, you've got to do the kick chase, which Saracens do so well, and just play the game down in Toulon's 22. If they do that, they'll get, especially down to 14 players, they can really squeeze out a few more penalties and perhaps even a try.
That's a classic prop for you. A fly half, an international fly half, has just blown a 3-on-1 try-scoring pass, and he's saying, let's squeeze out a few pens. Good on you, Wally.
Charlie Hodgson about to come on. Barrett is trying to stay out there. He is definitely hobbling.
Well, Miles, you've got to say it's a brutal world with Barrett hobbling, but if that had been Charlie Hodgson with that ball in his hand, it would have been a try.
Already used, Neil de Kock and Chris Wiles, Saracens' other back replacements. Hodgson not required at the moment. We'll have to monitor Barrett's situation. So the scrum after the pass forward from Farrell.
That was the first massive opportunity in this match. With an extra man, with the momentum, with a real try-scoring opportunity. Will they regret that?
Having taken the 3 points right at the start of the sin-bin period, everything was starting to move in Saracens' direction there.
Yeah, Toulon's defence for the first time, that brick wall defence just opened up as Vunipola went. It was a great chance.
It is the kind of day when the extra man might make all the difference. Oh, it's a penalty for Toulon at the scrum and a chance to clear by a few more seconds during this sin-bin period.
This Toulon scrum has won the free kicks and penalties that have mattered at the moment. Wilkinson, all the experience in the world. His old rival Charlie Hodgson about to come back. It was always Wilco had it over Hodgson. What an irony if Charlie Hodgson comes back and he bloodies Jonny Wilkinson's nose, his nemesis for a decade.
Of course, Farrell will move into the centre as Barrett goes, couldn't make it, tried to run it off. And there's the pass that could have been a scoring one. It was a difficult one. It was a long way to pass the ball, but it's a chance on a day of few chances.
No, I'm critical of Farrell because, as I said, against Scotland he threw an absolute beauty there, and he's a player who should be able to execute those. This is high-level rugby. Warren Gatland is looking for people who execute under pressure.
Saracens stolen that? I think they have. Under 5 minutes now on the sin bin. Hodgson and Jackson Ray. Played some lovely rugby in this competition, Saracens, and with Hodgson at fly half too. But holding on, penalty Toulon. So they get a penalty at the scrum inside their own 22. Clear, Saracens get their hands on the ball at the line-out, but then waste that opportunity. And Toulon have another penalty round about halfway. But the bad news for them is that Jonny Wilkinson is needing treatment.
Oh, tremendous from Masoe. You could say Saracens are wasting time and getting penalised, but that's not a penalty against Saracens. That is a penalty won by the brilliance of the back row. Wilkinson, a knock at the moment on the arm, but his back row mates, Chris Masoe, helping him out. Talking at the moment. I mean, Wilkinson's captain, but Lobbe is walking around there, chatting to absolutely everyone. He's as inspiring as the greatest Argentinian Malbec, I tell you. Fantastic.
Well, his arm was hurting, but crucially, his feet were not. And there are a lot of leaders out there from both sides. Jam full of them today. But absolutely agree with your comments on Fernandez Lobby. He has been inspirational today, but so too this man, especially if he gets this. All remember during the Simbin period.
I think they've got the concussion.
Of course, we've facetiously said there his leg's okay, so he should be all right. But of course, kicking a ball, it's the whole movement of the body. If he is struggling, it could just make a difference. If he doesn't just get the flow through. He's kicked beautifully so far, and anyone who saw him kick in Toulon against Leicester would say easily within range. No problem in terms of temperament either.
But if there's one man in world rugby who can eliminate the effect of an injury,
I thought so.
any physical or even psychological impact, it is this man. It is Jonny Wilkinson. He's from just inside his own half, and he has put that ball over. Oh, what a kick! Without Rousseau in the sin bin, Toulon come back, and Wilkinson is the man. Wilkinson, so often the man on this ground. I mean, he knows every blade of grass on this famous Twickenham Stadium. And he has delivered a magnificent kick there. And who was there again on the restart? Fernandez Lobby. Up from Beinsports. That, to say the least, is a blow to Saracens. But Cruz and Saracens quickly, and they're very alive to what's on here. Toulon were not. They were maybe dwelling on the Wilkinson score, but it's gone forward again. That's two now to that left-hand side, and 2 moments of opportunity have gone flying away here from Saracens. Will they live to regret them?
That's good initially from Saracens. Quick line out, Hodgson there. Joel Tompkins, that's a dreadful pass. It's a dreadful pass. Wiles calls for the ball, but that's just way forward as Kennedy disappears from action and Joseph Suter comes on.
I'm actually bringing you closer, but that's why you are going down.
So Nick Kennedy had a fine game. He's replaced by, as you say, Joe Suter, the French international, made his debut back in the autumn. That crushing win over Australia. So Suter on, Kennedy off. Saracens with passes from Farrell and Tompkins.
2 big chances, Miles, 2 big misses.
Marceau goes off the base of the scrum. Bastereau is there. Wilkinson.
Stand.
He kicked another England side out of the competition, Leicester at the quarter-final, and he could be doing it again. There's good. Fernandez Lobby can't get to that one, but he was taken out without the ball by Chris Wiles.
Clear penalty. So the other man who's come right into this game, Chris Masoi, won the penalty for Wilkinson. Lobbe took the restart from it. Masoi was on hand. He's carrying now. If you remember the second half of the quarter-final, he got better and better until the last 10 minutes. He was the dominant personality on the pitch. And when Wilkinson went back from that successful penalty, he and Masoi just touched hands. The guy who won the penalty and the guy who converted it into 3 points. They know what they're doing here. Great strike.
And you wouldn't know that he'd just been injured at all. Had plenty on it again as well, didn't it?
Well, that's no surprise. Anyway, you know, that Toulon performance, he was just kicking it miles. He's really
so he's coming out of the sin bin. So this the final play for Saracens with the extra man. Beinsports drops that one. Caught by Ray. And Joubert off now, injured in this game. Fraser never able to play in it. Berger not quite match fit after his long layoff. He's had a few minutes, but not enough to go into a game like this. Is that about to start to tell as well, especially with the likes of Marceau going as well? But it is turnover. Maybe it's the youngsters who will see Saracens through, the likes of Cruz and Ray. Hodgson switches play in behind there with that kick. It's a good one. It's territory. It's what Saracens needed. Here comes Rousseau out of the bin.
Well, this still remains a game where territory is paramount, and that's a great first kick from Charlie Hodgson. Tremendous turnover as well. That's off your feet, on your feet. Seeing those penalties given against Saracens there, that was fortunate. Nothing lucky there about that from Charlie Hodgson. Classy. It's a good sin bin, isn't it? If you can have a good sin bin for Toulon. Held their own, 3-3. Danny Rousseau gets 10 minutes and he's fresher.
Funny sort of way, it's 3-0, isn't it? Because Saracens get the penalty right at the start of the sin bin. That's what started it all from Rousseau. So as soon as he went off, when the ball was back in live play, it was actually Toulon who won that period. What has he done there? What has Orioli done? Just lobbed it into space, it seemed. Stevens. That is bizarre. Cruz. If Saracens score from this, and they won't, Alan Roland has saved his hooker there. Bernard Laporte cannot believe it. All that investment, all these stars, all the agony of getting here, and then a line out that is mystifying. Just watch this again. Have that, Sheridan. You're not even looking.
Well, Andy Sheridan used to be a front of the line, second row. I don't know why he just didn't turn around, spring up in the air and take that. Poor old Orioli. That is officially a moment of madness, and one I know Bernard Laporte a little bit, and I think disappointment wouldn't begin to describe his feeling there.
I mean, had Laporte taken off his famous glasses and started stamping on them in the stand here at Twickenham, you would not have been surprised. Borthwick had almost predicted it. Orioli had just gone there. Right. Have another go. Better. Much more conventional. Tabota. Sheridan's gone off, been replaced. Jenkins on. There he is. Right at the front of this, Gethin Jenkins. Such a significant line on the last two tours. Will he be part of the one that's about to come up? Of course, not a first choice with Toulon. That make any difference to his possibility in selection? We'll find out on Tuesday. Here's Fernandez Love. Looking for Saracens to make the error, commit the offence, if you like.
Exactly what they're doing. Masoi and Lobe, they're just very patient there.
Heyman trying to show that it was difficult to get the ball out of there.
Use it!
Jenkins, Tiers board, Bastereau. Saracens must hold their discipline here. 6 points, already looks uncomfortable, the difference between the teams. Wilkinson takes this out to a 9-point gap. That's looking pretty horrible for the Saracens. Wilkinson again to Bastereau, on it goes. Cross goes Jackson Ray, makes another tackle. Bastereau takes on Vunipola, Wiles in there, Kenny Brown too, but Bastereau strong. Takes 3 to stop him again, ball is lost, and forward too. So not only do Saracens hold their discipline, they get a chance to counter-attack now. And it's Cruz, he's lost it, but no advantage.
Here we are.
And advantage was not called over, just.
For once, Wilkinson and Masoi not in sync. Patient play initially from Toulon, and you can see what they're trying to do with their game. As Smith prepares to come on, he's won a World Cup. He hasn't won a Heineken Cup, and it's going to be pretty tough from here. But there's 17 minutes to go, and whilst they're within 6 points, it can be won. What they mustn't allow is Toulon to go 9 points clear, because against that power, it looks a long way back from there.
Paul?
Yeah, smart choice bringing in John Smith there. The Saracens scrum has been struggling a bit. Skolkbritz, great player around the pitch, but the tempo of the game is a bit too slow for him, not getting those opportunities. And just that extra physicality that John Smith brings will be very important. So big scrum for Sarries here.
Smith, of course, heavily linked with a move to Toulon to finish his career, but that will not be happening. He's going at the end of this season back to Durban, back to the Sharks to be the chief executive. Let's listen to the referee again.
I know you're just on and you're just on, all right, but we managed to get a couple of scrums before the first half. Finish, let's tidy it up. Let's get it up. Bring it in closer. Keep your head and shoulders above your hips.
It is sad, isn't it? We managed to get a couple of scrums in the first half. It's the Heineken Cup semi-final. We managed a couple of scrums. Slight understatement from Alain Rolland. Nicely handled. But boy, doesn't it say something about the state of the scrum at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit of a loaded comment there from the referee. Saracens have a good scrum there, and Neil de Kock and Hodgson, he's gone for this corner. That's a couple of beautiful kicks now from the boot of Charlie Hodgson. He's got a spring in his step. He's right up for this, to be the star of the day, to overtake Farrell, to overtake Wilkinson.
How about this from Charlie Hodgson? He's turned one right to left, back into the corner. He's flat, he's given himself the option, nothing on, he arrows a screw kick bang into the corner. Class from Charlie.
And Stefan Armitage now to come on. Man who spent a couple of seasons in the Saracens Academy before he joined London Irish. Of course, where he shot to prominence in the English Premiership. Another player who played in the London Irish semi-final against Toulouse here 5 years ago, when Irish just couldn't quite do it. At the moment, similar sort of scoreline for Saracens, and they're on the wrong end of it. Here's Good, comes forward from full-back again. But like Munster yesterday, and with a little bit more time on their side, they are within range, trying a conversion. But they have to get the execution right, those passes right. Tompkins goes on against Palisson. Hodgson and Neil de Kock, they swap places. This is where Saracens have suffered a bit. They haven't really managed to get around Toulon in midfield, who look comfortable.
Well, the passing hasn't been precise enough, and they haven't, apart from that one bust by their prop, Vunipola really held them.
Ashton might be the man. De Kock again to Good, and settles on the kick, but Wilkinson will have to be wary of the bounce here, and he was.
That's not a great kick from Alex Good. The moment it left his boot, there was way too much weight on it. In the first half, we saw one that he tried to just drop stone dead, and it didn't have enough. That one, Fenter knows that just doesn't work. And again, some of the passing just not good enough, and it allows Oriole and co to come on there, and you don't want Toulon driving forward defensively because they're so strong.
So as it stands, looking like an all-French final in Dublin, unless Saracens can change it. Fernandez Love first there again, but well done by Jackson Ray to the short side. Only Vunipola there, but he won't mind that. Hodgson. Oh, that's good work through midfield this time. There was a hint of space for Tompkins, but then, just when there was a little bit of space, see one or two of the reactions of the Saracens players. They are getting frustrated out there now.
Why was there space? Because Hodgson threw a really fast, fizzing, flat ball off his left hand. Had such speed on it, it just gave half a chance. But again, the execution lets it down. Look at the quality on that pass. Bang! There's half a gap, but the offload not quite there. Tompkins loses the ball, knocked on by Hodgson, and Toulon take control again.
The near international test match pressure that Tompkins is working under there, just couldn't get that normal offload of his in. There's an international off the field, Brad Barrett, being iced up. Can play no further part, has the agony now of watching. And here's Wilkinson going forward. Saracens so conscious of this penalty. Even from there, Wilkinson has proved it again from distance. Gitto.
Good kick.
And it's Alex Good going up with Wolf, who takes it. Rudy Wolf looks for the offload to Bastereau and can't find it.
Well,
still they can't get away to score the tries.
That's a good kick from Matt Giteau. That was a great kick from Giteau. Laporte is off his feet. Rudy Wolf does the first pass absolutely superbly. Giteau says, go and catch it, mate. He does. He wraps that ball around and Bastereau scores, and Toulon are in the Heineken Cup final, but he just can't do it. That's half a chance for Toulon gone. Good. Beaten conclusively by the Kiwi.
And as we look at those pictures, Saracens have emptied their bench. Rhys Gill is back on now as a permanent replacement. Carlos Nieto has come on, so 2 changes at prop. And Mo Botha, there he is, number 19, into the Saracens' second row. Paul Wallace.
Yeah, Saracens really want to get back into this game. They now have to up the tempos. 12 minutes on the clock. They need to get a try, really, get up there. When they're doing that, we saw with the line break, you've got to have someone running a hard line. Owen Farrell did it so well there for the Tompkins break. Earlier on, they weren't. There was no one holding the fence. They need to do that if they want to create any space outside and get a line break against Toulon.
At the moment, it's Toulon doing the attacking kick from Tillisboard. Hodgson, another lovely pass, finds Neil de Kock. He puts his head down and goes. Shipped on very nicely in midfield. Well, first time, Good tried to get it on quickly, couldn't, but he recovers. Saracens recover, and Alex Good goes. Finds Chris Wiles almost up to halfway. In goes Neil de Kock. Farrell kicks. But that's nice and easy for Palisson.
Yeah, he read that very well. He's had a good game, Palisson. He's a bundle of muscle, isn't he? But he reads the game very well. And the ball just in the air too long there from Owen Farrell. It enabled the French international to just get back. And he's got a very good left foot. Oh, he's tapped to go. And he's got out of jail.
Well, for now, plenty of men back here for Saracens to make an impact. It was good. De Kock, Hodgson, midfield now with Smith, but he's lost it. And a chance here for Bastereau. On to Rudy Wolf. Wolf to Armitage. Cuts back inside. Again, plenty of Saracens there to make the tackles, but that means there'll be options for Toulon in the back line with numbers there as well. Fernandez Lobby got a hand on it. Oh, nearly there. Oh, that was close. And one more try. Or one try, the first one of the afternoon would sort it, wouldn't it? From Toulon's point of view. That's all they need.
Flashing moment of brilliance from Matt Giteau. He knew what was on. John Smith doesn't carry with any real conviction. Giteau, flat, low. I know my man Lobbe's there. I know he's great in the air. It bounces back and Palisson. He's still got a man to beat, but that's close. That's close.
Yeah, the way he's taking it, Stuart, he's running out of ground anyway. The man was in a great position to smash him, although Wiles was slipping.
Wasn't it good from Matt Giteau, though? Doesn't kick much, but when he kicks, it's with real purpose.
Ball is inside.
So Marseille goes, and another man with so many caps, 52 caps, Joe Fanny-Kirk, the South African international, replaces him.
Really good second half. Again, Chris Massoi has grown into this game. He's been a dominant force alongside his mate Lobbe in the back row.
New props for Saracens, win a penalty. Nieto on his 37th birthday.
We haven't said that very much, have we? Saracens props win a penalty.
I was going to say, we've never said 37th birthday for him before, because we only have one.
No, absolutely. Thinking about the scrums, thinking about Nieto. Out to in. The other day, it's penalised the other way, but hey, they're scrums. Happy birthday, Carlos.
Scrummaged well in the defeat against Gloucester, of course his former club, but in that place on the bench. Jackson Ray got the starting place because of injury to Will Fraser. Saracens on the attack, falls for Hodgson. Bit of a lucky break, but then coming in at the side, penalty. Surely not Wilkinson from there, maybe Paul Thorburn from years ago.
Nothing unlucky about Steph Armitage there. That is a classic piece of play on the floor. Charlie Hodgson seemed to be benefiting from the break. But the breakdown, Toulon were absolutely mesmerising there. The speed with which they got over that ball, and yep, there's no Paul Thorburn, but Wilkinson is going for safety at the moment. This is wonderful play. How quick do you want to be? And boom, there's the penalty. Reskill concedes it, concedes 30 metres. And there is Wilkinson driving Farrell backwards over the out of the two of them. It's definitely been Wilkinson's day.
Great pictures those of the Wilkinson Farrell master apprentice.
Strong from Toulon. You know what they want.
Here's Tiersport to Bastereau again. Oh, good tackling there. Both are, I think, putting his head in the way. Up comes Farrell to put pressure on Wilkinson. Has Wilkinson got that away and over? He has! Farrell couldn't get there. Wilkinson, still the master. What a kick that is. Toulon think they've done it with that kick, and they might well be right. Have they had too much? Has Wilkinson had too much for Saracens today?
That's an incredible kick from Wilkinson. I thought Toulon had gone one stage too far. The pressure was on, and it was Owen Farrell trying to put the pressure on. Of all people, Farrell knew the threat that was coming. Wilkinson had no time. In the quarter-final, one off the right, but he drills that low under maximum pressure. You won't see a better drop kick than that in your life. Forget the flight of the ball, it's the speed with which he set himself. It was the pressure he was under. He struck balls clearer than that, but that is a wonderful, wonderful three-pointer.
And if ever a picture summed up the day, it is that. Farrell knew he had to get there. The crowd have just seen that on the giant screen. It was like one of those bad dreams for Farrell, wasn't it? His legs were trying and trying to get there, but he just couldn't do it. And Wilkinson with that incredible snap. But here comes de Kock, throws it inside. And Saracens now have to throw caution to the wind to try and rescue this. Got less than 6 minutes, need 2 scores, need the first try of the day. And those wasted opportunities.
Move! Okay.
Those chances, half chances, maybe more than that on one occasion. Farrell forced into a bit of a panic chip. Gitto's got it, and Toulon might have that place in the final as well.
Thank you. Hands out!
What a moment on the floor there between Wilkinson and Farrell. Wilkinson
Ball's outside.
realising what he'd done for his team, and Farrell realising just how good Wilkinson is up close and personal.
No, okay.
Ashton. It came off Farrell, hit Gill. Advantage will be played here. That has gone forward to Armitage, and that's the reason why the whistle has gone, even though Armitage hasn't heard it.
Here, offside.
Well, I think
It's a penalty, Stuart. I should say that first.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say Saracens have completely lost the plot. Completely lost the plot. And it started with Owen Farrell, and yeah, I go back to Warren Gatland. Big games like Heineken Cup semis are games that he will judge Lions by, and if someone can explain to me right now how Owen Farrell can be on the plane in front of Jonny Wilkinson, then I cannot understand it. He has not said that unless you travel on the same day you can't go. He would prefer it that way. Wilkinson's drop goal and Wilkinson's ruthless boot in the quarter and semi under the most intense of pressure. You imagine Johnny Sexton plays for an hour, you're in front, you want to close down the game. Do you bring on Owen Farrell or do you bring on this man? It is not about building for World Cups in the future, it's about winning a test series. And there is no way you can say that right now the best man to close a game out for the Lions wouldn't be Jonny Wilkinson.
And here he is to finish off this one for sure. It's probably already done, but Wilkinson, as so often has been the case on this ground, to have the final say. And to the final they go. The Euro millions spent on this team. One step away now from the jackpot for Wilkinson and Toulon. Arms folded from father Andy Farrell of son Owen. But he would have liked what he's seen from a Lions point of view if Wilkinson is in the picture, but we must pause here for a very nasty collision on the restart, and the physios, the doctors coming on straight away for this one.
Well, not that many of them came, and a lot of them are leaving early. In the end, Toulon have been the better team. Juan Martin Fernandez Lobe has been absolutely colossal. The South American has been world class. 9 days out of 10 he would be my man of the match, but for all his good work, someone had to turn it into points to win the game. And Wilkinson, 7 out of 7 penalties, and that one majestic drop goal means that he is my Heineken Cup semi-final man of the match. Lobe was a giant up front, but Wilkinson has been brutal. That was a knife straight through the heart of Saracens. A wonderful kick, a wonderful moment, but for Wilkinson, what a return to Twickenham.
A moment that spent money came absolutely right for the owner. Of course, he will want his side now to go on and win it. To not spend all of their money to finish second, but what a great chance they have against a French rival in Clermont-Auvergne, because that is what it is going to be now. It's good to see the players involved in the horrible collision. Stefan Armitage and Mo both up, looking pretty okay, although both were still down on the turf. Oh, instant knockout it looked like there.
Well, geez, you're 2.5 minutes to go in a European Cup semi-final. You are going to throw absolutely everything at it. Inadvertent, horrible incident, but both of them seem all right. Played his part. Stefan Armitage came on, key turnover.
Not the place to lose a semi-final, is it? Saracens are about to do it again. Lost in their previous semi-final 5 years ago, and history about to repeat itself. Armitage is going off.
Well, you know, Saracens said last year they were taught a lesson when they were out-muscled by Clermont at Watford. They are a stronger team than last year, but in the collision stakes, they are still second to the French. And when it comes to the goal-kicking stakes, they've been second to Wilkinson.
Both have stayed on. Man of the match is announced, and the Toulon supporters love it, as they absolutely love him. Hodgson inside, maybe his intervention a little bit too late. "12 points behind, and no time to do anything about it, really." De Kock to Cruz. It's a long old season in France, with that top 14 starting way back in mid-August, but it's coming to its fruition very nicely indeed for Toulon, both in that competition and now with a first appearance in a Heineken Cup final. Just like for Clermont yesterday, first time into the final itself. Laporte, lots of pressure, lots of money, but also lots of pressure to produce, and he is living up to his reputation as a man in charge as well.
We are looking at a two-team monopoly, aren't we, at the moment? It's going to be Clermont versus Toulon in the Heineken Cup final, and right now, with the way Clermont have been tearing teams like Toulouse apart, Toulon and Clermont look set to go head-to-head in the French final. As for Owen Farrell, Jonny Wilkinson, the question now has to be asked. Wilkinson has played so well, you cannot ask it. Maybe Warren Gatland and company will want to take 3 fly halves that would keep Farrell in the picture, but if he sticks with his "I'm taking 2 in a utility," If Wilkinson is available, I cannot see how you could pick anyone other than Sexton over him and Wilkinson as the balance. He's been brutally ruthless today.
Of course, extra place now for France in the Heineken Cup next season with guaranteed French winner. The Toulon Clermont-Auvergne, they are doing it for themselves.
Use it!
And just a few more seconds now to play out, to play their power games, and they've got the European rugby economics sorted out to get them to this stage. Almost an interception, doesn't really matter. Palisson nearly pulls it off, nearly pulled it off earlier, but Toulon, they have pulled it off, and they can see all the investment, all the ambition, all starting to pay